call the meeting to order. This is June 21st. It's our regular meeting, Sylvania Township Board of Trustees. Roll call.
Call the roll. Mr. Genoway.
Here.
Mr. Franco.
Here.
Simcoe. Here. Mr. Mahoney is out of town.
Yeah. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for our meeting of June 7th. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Mr. Genoway.
Yes.
Mr. Franco.
Yes. Any changes to the agenda?
Yes, I'd like to move item number 8, the badge pinning and retirement, to up to now on the agenda.
All right.
Thank you for making that adjustment. I appreciate it. Good evening, everybody. This is sort of a sad and a joyous occasion. We're going to recognize 3 individuals that have retired from the fire department. First is Dean Boyers and his wife, Melissa. Melissa made it. Dean has served our department and the community for 22 years. Second is James Bud Crosby and his wife, Mary. Come on, you got to come up here. Come up here. Bud has served our department and community for 22 years. And Doug Bourne and his wife, Pam. Pam's not here tonight. Doug has served our department and community for 18 years. Combined, that's 62 years of experience and knowledge that we as a department are losing today. What is comfortable to know is that these individuals have mentored our new firefighters in teaching them the skills and the expertise necessary to become first-class paramedic firefighters. Over the years, these individuals have served with our department and community with honor and distinction, and we wish them nothing but the very best as they take on their new challenges. Congratulations, guys. Plaque.
I get one too.
You get one too. And the reason I had the wives come up, the wives are just a part of the department as the firefighters. They get to put up with all the sadness and the late dinners and all those things that we have to put up with, and they don't get any of the glory of going red lights and siren on the engines and having all the glory of saving lives. So they are an integral part, and we appreciate putting up with us during those years of service. So thank you all. Appreciate it. Now I'd like, you guys can stay here if you want, Zach Miramontes, his father, Dr. David Miramontes, and Ava, his daughter. Come up. Zach is our newest firefighter paramedic, and traditionally we have him take an oath of office, and we will have his father and stepdaughter pin him tonight with the badge. Shiny, brand new uniform, looks really good. Go ahead, Don. I guess you're going to need the badge, aren't you? Yeah, I guess you'd have that. Thank you, sir. And doctor, you don't have to do it Navy SEAL style where they push it into the chest. Just go ahead and put that. It's a new uniform. See, a veteran would have opened up those holes before he came to the meeting tonight, so. Or his lieutenant would have helped him. Okay, Zach, we're going to give you the oath of office. Step forward, please.
All right, repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will obey and support the Constitution of the United States of America, the laws and revised code of the state of Ohio, the established laws and ordinances within Sylvania Township, and the rules and regulations of the Sylvania Township Fire Department. That I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of the position of firefighter-paramedic according to all governance therein to the best of my ability. I take and subscribe this oath before the Board of Trustees and the Sylvania Township Fire Chief this 21st day of June, 2016. Congratulations.
Welcome.
Congratulations. Welcome.
Congratulations.
Don't go too far.
He's getting his helmet with a big P on the front. That's probationary. He'll be a probationary firefighter for the first year. After he successfully completes the rest of his training and his probationary period, we allow him to change that shield to whatever engine company he'll be assigned to. So congratulations, Zach. We wish you many years of success.
Welcome, Zach.
Dean, congratulations. Good luck. Well, you're here already. You're back.
Congratulations.
Bad heading. Congratulations. Enjoy your summer.
Congratulations.
Yep, for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate your service. Okay, we'll move on to hearing of the public. No one signed up. So
Nobody signed up.
we'll go to the zoning department.
Good evening. I'll be very brief. I only have two items. The monthly report. I won't go over all that. If you have any questions on it, I will be happy to answer them. Just the one item of note is the zoning commission training that we held on May 11th. John Burrell and myself with the zoning commission board. For the most part, it was just a question and answer kind of thing, but I think it was very helpful to the board members. If there's no questions on that, I'll just go to my resolution.
Could we scoot back to the single family?
Sure.
How are we doing here?
We're down from last year. We're at,
I remember that last year.
right, we're at, through last month, we're at 34 for the year versus 40 a year ago. You may recall last year, we started kind of slow too, so hopefully it'll pick up. But I have one resolution, that is 16080, authorization of abatement for vegetation. I would like to make one change on that. The property at 5644 Whiteford Road has been cut, so that one will not need to be included.
Okay, I'll move approval of the revised resolution 16080.
Second.
Call the roll, Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Any questions up there? All right, let's move on to the road department. Rob?
Good evening. I have a monthly report submitted for month of May. On page 1 there, as of note, some items that we finished up the salt dome deliveries. I did acquire the 416 tons, but additional 800 tons was still on the cooperative program that I've made arrangements with Lucas County towards the end of July. We'll deliver and store that there. We will recover that salt as needed throughout the winter of 2017-16. Some other issues or items, number G, or letter G there. We did purchase a sign roller, and this allows us to basically buy sign material and make our own signs and recycle the blanks. Right there is an estimate of some of the cost savings of that item. And it also gives us flexibility and timing when we need something sooner than the county can provide it for us or purchase it from the local vendors. We did complete some roadside mowing the first round and sweeper the first round. The cooperative program that we've got in place with the city for the drying pad, I've got good positive responses from our workers. I spoke with Kevin Aller and Jim at the city, and they've also given me positive response. It seems to be working well. So we'll continue fostering that relationship with them on that. On page 2, we are in the construction season, so some items of note: the OPWC resurfacing project off of Sylvania Metamora, the Lover's Run area. That project came out nice. It's complete. The second phase, the Jolly Inland Honora, will start in August as tentative start date. And the 2000 resurfacing project, there was some adjustment. DeVilbiss Court, Gulf Creek will be moved due to some findings of the base and the material, and that project will be a reconstruction project now in probably 17-18. And we will add some additional roads to compensate that for the removal of those that we'll be able to get resurfaced this year. The Huntington Road Storm Sewer Project is complete. It's very nice. It was an additional asset over in that area for drainage. It basically tiled in several ditches and also removed the fostering of mosquitoes and stuff like that in that area. Some other drainage projects of note you can see there. We are in the midst of catch basin repairs. We had quite a few, over 100 this year throughout the township that were identified in the fall of last year. Micro surfacing project is scheduled. It's not on there, but as number 9, you'll see the Silica Road is scheduled for July 2nd. They just sent that over this week. That will have lane restrictions. It's a Saturday, so we've scheduled it that to reduce the impact on the businesses and the few residents that do use that location. I did speak with some of the major businesses over there, and most of them do not operate on Saturday, and specifically July 2nd, which is a holiday weekend, so we think it'll have minimal impact. But there are also some other resurfacing or micro resurfacing areas in that same location to include Sylvania Avenue and between Mitchell and I believe Her. So it will impact some of that area. That's all I have for the monthly report, unless you have any questions. There's some additional items on there. I have 2 resolutions that I'm seeking approval for. First resolution, 160078, I'd like authorization to award bid and enter contract for the household pickup. We had only one vendor submit a bid. It was the same as last year, the same vendor, Stevens Disposal, and the price for that contract, they submitted the same price as last year, so I think they're servicing us well.
I'll offer Resolution 16-078, award and enter into contract for 2016 household pickup.
Second.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
The second resolution that I'm requesting is 16079, and this is to advertise for bid for the 2016 leaf pickup.
I'll offer Resolution 16-079 to authorize approval to advertise for 2016 leaf pickup.
Second,
Mr. O'Donnell?
yes.
Mr. Dillon?
Yes. Thank you,
Any
Rob.
questions for Rob?
Thank you.
Very good, Rob. Hey, you got Centennial Roundabout opened up too.
Yes. Good timing.
Hello again.
Hi, Chief.
You had before you, I do appreciate you letting us go first. It worked out very well for the family, so thanks again. You have before you the May monthly report. The first two pages are run volumes. We continue, as I suggested last month, to start to have more issues with difficulty breathers. Those are up a little bit on page 3. And our heart attacks, chest pain have risen a little bit from what they were last year, just a tad. Mutual aid and automatic aid given, it's balancing out about the same, given and received aid, both with Sylvania Township and Springfield Township. Page 6 is our automatic aid received. These are the times that we have either regular alarms or we're in need of a transport unit that we have received aid from either Toledo Fire Division or Springfield Township Fire Division. Springfield, I'll just make a note, Springfield has not started covering Spencer yet. I have had discussion with Chief Kuzno, the chief of the department, and our intent is not to cover that area, because he's getting paid to cover that they're getting a stipend for that. So we will continue just to cover his immediate area, Springfield Township. Page 7 is Medic 61. It's the medic unit. I had 36 responses in the month of May, and we ended up transporting 27 patients during that time. Page 8 is our community risk reduction. We had 6 fire drills, finishing up on the fire drills before schools let out, trying to get their last required drills in for the schools. Installed 4 smoke alarms in a couple homes. Deputy Chief Freilich has been busy with 14 plan reviews, had 3 license inspections for preschools and 4 final acceptance tests of sprinkler systems. And the crews were out inspecting commercial buildings 293 times. The next 2 pages is our training. This will be our last month for Lucas County EMS training. We'll be off July and August. We will start in September with the Rescue Task Force training, and that is training with our police departments, both the township and the city, in introducing a paramedic to the entry team on a mass casualty shooting or an incident. That training will be coming up at the end of the year. The paramedics will receive the training in September, then we'll follow through with the police departments in October and November, whenever the police chiefs deem it feasible for them. Let's see here, what else do we have that I can mention to you? Our overtime on page 11. Training was 216 hours. Staffing, we had 282 hours for a total of 523 hours of overtime. And then the last page is a thank you note from the MedTech class. We did our last session. We do 4 sessions with Northview MedTech class. The last session is childbirth, and we took the students through the childbirthing process. Lucas County EMS was gracious enough to allow us to use a brand new mannequin that they had. It's quite expensive that they go through the actual childbirth. It is a little bit more in detail than the other mannequins that we've had. We had one young lady that ended up passing out during the birthing process that we had to take care of. But it was a great experience for them, and our crews were able to go ahead and teach them on the childbirth. Unless you have anything else for me, I have no resolutions. I'm good.
Chief?
Yes.
Did out of 36 calls, I think you said 27
We're transported? Yes, sir.
Transported, so we're doing 3/4?
Yes, sir.
Transports. Okay.
Yeah. And they're only called out
I
when...
think that's high, I understand. They're backing up the private
Right.
side.
That's only when the privates aren't in the area or can't make it. They don't have a car available, so... And I look at those as very positive. Those are times when we're getting our community members to the hospital quickly.
No, I think that's, I'm surprised. Tom.
I'm actually surprised also.
It's higher than I would have imagined.
Chief, how's the traffic flows hindering the Station 2 in particular, and are you guys working around that and working with ODOT and
Yes, sir.
best they can?
We go to the monthly meetings that ODOT has. We have, in the CAD system, we've gone ahead and changed the speed on Central Avenue to 25 miles per hour for number 2's response. By doing that, it recommends 3's house or 1's house to the Reynolds and Central area, and even to the Sylvania and Holland-Sylvania area, which would usually be 2's first 2 district. So by changing the speed, because of the congestion down there, because we just can't get down there, especially at 5, 6 o'clock at night, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So we changed the CAD to help us get the closest engine to respond to those areas. So it has been a challenge, yes, sir.
Is it increased in accidents and those sort of things as well, or?
The police chief could probably go to the accidents, but I will tell
I
you,
was wondering where he was at. He's over there behind the pedestal. Okay, all right.
I'm sure he'll speak to that, but Mr. Genowine, really, the accidents that are happening are slow-speed accidents, and we're not having many injuries, so that's good.
Okay.
That's on the positive side, I
Okay.
guess. And the roundabout on Centennial is working out fabulous.
Nice.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Genowine did point out something. I apologize. You're right. I have a letter of resignation. I'm sorry. Thank you, John. Resignation of part-time firefighter Brent Giltz. He had got a job as a part-time firefighter. He got a job at another department.
Okay.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief. Police Department.
Good afternoon. You've got before you, up on the screen, the monthly report for the month of May. And on page 2, you'll see the calls into our dispatch center. All the calls actually total 8,090. And then the warrants entered in the leads, the number of warrants and the number of house checks we've done. On page 3, you'll see calls for service and the different offenses, and I'm happy to report, well, calls for service, we're actually down slightly. Everything else we're down except on assaults, which, you know, that's not anything you can really deter. Assaults happen, unfortunately. It's not like burglaries and things like that. And then all other is up slightly, but in all the other major categories, especially like the burglaries and the robberies, and surprisingly, the identity thefts, and go figure, domestic violences are about half what they were last year at this time. But assaults are up. So people unrelated are assaulting each other, but people related are backing off. So there must be a study that'll be done on that somehow, some way. Page 4, you'll see the detective caseload statistics, and they kind of explain themselves there. That, you know, the column to the right, the bold print, is probably the ones that you're most interested in as far as who's assigned what and what they're clearing in the active and such. Page 5. I won't read all these items or whatever. They're kind of self-explanatory too. The one of note, I guess, say halfway down in the general section, RB number 105716, the incident or investigation of Whiteford Elementary School. I think I related that to you in a separate email. And then we are beginning to research going to lead-free ammunition in the range. As you can imagine, cleanup for the range through the filters and such, if we use lead, as we have in the past, is pretty expensive. So lead-free ammo is a little more expensive, but I think when we actually put everything together, we will save a considerable amount of money of going to lead-free, and will require the few other departments that use our indoor range, obviously, to go to the lead-free too. Otherwise, they can use our outdoor range, but they won't be using our indoor range with the filters and such.
And everything else there, again, we had a DARE graduation at Stranahan, and, I'll talk about Safety Town, as I'm sure the fire chief will, next month, but my understanding is that went well. Speed trailer, there's only one address on here for May, or one location, Greenacre. But I can tell you, actually, I had a couple different phone calls today. A guy at the corner of Thornborough and Springwater, if you know where that is, off of Central Avenue, kind of right by the McDonald's, across from Myers there. We continue to experience a lot of complaints in the two neighborhoods northwest of Central Pennsylvania, northeast of Central Pennsylvania, the Waldmars, Mars Rose, Good Hughes, Almonts, and Fleets, because people are cutting through there. We can't keep them from cutting through there to avoid the construction, the traffic congestion due to the construction. But we've had the speed trailer in there, and we're trying to watch that as much as possible for violations and such. We're also, it's that time of year. We're kids just got out of school. We're starting to get the complaints. So as we hear about them, we address them as much as we can. But like I told the gentleman today, not more than a couple hours ago, we'll do what we can. But we do have limited resources, and it's dependent on calls for service and that sort of thing. So, but we'll do what we can do there. Page 7, that's just DEA task force, some of his activities. Nothing of great note there. I'll let you just read that paragraph at your leisure if you haven't. You probably already read it. Page 8, you can see again, same old story. Our thefts, burglaries, drug offenses are all concentrated down along Central Avenue, especially in the commercial district. Some up on Monroe Street, concentrating on thefts for a change, because we do have the drug offenses in the big box store parking lots and things like that up there too. It stands to figure our commercial district, Central and Monroe Street, especially Central Avenue, continue to drive most of our calls for service. Page 9, once again, same thing. You'll see the blue dots are the traffic crash, property damage, accidents. Actually, I'm sorry, that includes the injury accidents too. And then just a few DUIs, but our DUI numbers are way down too. And that's including, that you would see on page 2. And that's actually including when we go out on grants and such for special enforcement, just looking for OVIs and such. Page 10, a little more activity for the canine officer. He was on FMLA for a while, and he's back. He's a very proactive officer, so you can see some of the things he's been involved in. I will tell you that it's my hope there's not another extension. As you know, we had hired a new officer, and he ended up being deployed on military leave. And that's been some time now. It was to go to middle of June. It's been extended to middle of August, but the plan is, in fact, it's already in right stuff. It's in the schedule, unless he gets extended again, to be able to put the canine on a 7 p to 3 a.m. shift where there's more activity, and he'll be able to get more involved and a little more proactive. Quite frankly, even the bad guys or, the drug addicts and such aren't driving around at 5 o'clock in the morning. So, there's not a lot of activity there, on straight midnights, except for the first half. So, that should increase his activity. But he was involved in some things. You can see it's actually two pages. So, and then page 12, 13, those are just some photos of some of the things that the canine officer and Speedy the canine came up with. Page 15, not a whole lot of money at this point from DEA or from our Sylvania Municipal Court fines and such at this point. Page 16, that's our overtime divided up by category or by the different bureaus. I will tell you, dispatch, you'll see a number of hours there. We're still short on midnights. Most of that's on midnights until we can fill that position. And then on day shift, not on day shift, but for officers, patrol and such. Some of that was on days in May because we had 5 officers go to a week-long
CIT, crisis intervention training, that we're trying to get all our people involved in. That's a wave. It's very good training, very important. And then midnights. We're short-staffed on midnights, a little short-staffed because of that officer being on that military deployment. And then one thing that's not included in your packet is, I'll just advise you that this is all with having an administrative sergeant file criminal charges for officers that would be off duty during court hours. Day shift, if they're working, they file their own, but Sergeant Whalen actually filed 36 charges on 20 suspects in the month of May for midnights, afternoons, and day shift road patrol. And with that, that's all I have. If you have any questions or anything.
You have any questions?
Nope.
Chief? Chief, I noticed the transports with the city weren't part. I don't think.
You know what, they
Is
were.
that an oversight?
That's an oversight. I don't know why that didn't get included.
Well-
It's been pretty negible. I mean, we're way ahead on that game, but, yeah, I did notice that when she typed or put it together for me. Thank you.
Administrator,
I have nothing unless you have questions for me.
fiscal office.
We just have the month-end analysis, you see it up there. There's really nothing really to report. The income's coming in as we would pretty much expect, and the expenditures they're slightly down, but looking at police and fire, but we've had one less payroll throughout, so that's probably why it's really right on track with what was going on in 15 and what we projected. So it's kind of uneventful. That's all I have.
Would it be possible to add columns that would include the dollar figures on those 52% and that?
You probably could. Sure, yeah.
Just
Why don't we do-
my curiosity.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. Thank
One
you.
other thing I mentioned that we do have the state auditors in that are doing our, usually the auditor's office, for most of the time I've been here, in the beginning they used to have the auditors from the state, employees of the state. And then they kind of got into the practice of hiring folks to come in. And we pay for it no matter what. But this year they've kind of flipped back to the state auditor employees. And so far it's really going pretty well. We've met and talked and they're working, and they're not in here all the time. That's the thing. It could get done probably fairly quickly, but they're in and then they go away for a while and then they come back. And so, but right at the moment it's going very well, I think. Anything, Scott, you want to add to it or no?
No, it seems like we got a good crew this year, and like you said, they were wrapping up another audit while we were starting this one, so we're expecting them to finish up by like mid-July.
They're pretty young, both. The one guy's been there about 2.5 years, I think, and the other one, I think it was his second day on the job, and he got lost trying to get here. Couldn't find us, so, but it seems to be going well so far. But wanted to give you an update, they're here.
Thanks.
To see some guys wandering around, that's it.
Any questions for?
No.
Thank you. Okay, open discussion.
I have nothing. Nobody signed in.
Any questions on my report or the administrator's report, John?
No, the only thing that I'm looking at is the second round of taxes are due out. I know we wanted to have some sort of,
We're told it's straightened out. That would be the police levy?
yes,
Yeah. We're
That's
told
what we hear.
it's straightened
I know.
out.
Okay.
We weren't a party to that, but
at least let's
The mayor-
communicate out what we do expect and things, so
the
last
mayor
time.
has confirmed, he has the same understanding that it'll be corrected,
Okay,
so.
okay,
The next item, July 5th is our next meeting. We've talked to the department heads, there's nothing pressing, so I think we'll skip that meeting. And Mike, you'll get a notice out to the paper.
The next meeting would then be July 19th.
Yeah, July 19th would be our next meeting. and therefore the reports will
Right.
switch. We usually do the reports first meeting of the month.
No, the second.
Oh, no, second meeting.
Yeah, so it'll be right on,
That'd be fine.
right.
Yep, you're right. Thank you.
You get a breather.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session for personnel, employment promotion, police department at 5:36.
Second.
Calling the roll, Mr. Genowine.
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes.
Sessions at 3.
Yeah, before the meeting.
That at least puts a
No.
deadline on it.
You take a recess, and
No.
start the meeting at 5.
We
I'm
want
rolling.
to do them
Okay.
at 4.
Sammy's going here.
That way it only takes an hour, because
Yeah.
we got to be
Yeah.
here. We
Sounds
gotta-
good to me. Are you ready, Sam? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm good.
We have got to get John.
We need one more to get out of here.
Actually, Mike, you don't have to stay for executive session. Normally, we don't take action.
Yes.
And if we did, John,
Yep.
and if we did, John
Second.
would call you.
I still just,
Okay,
and I did before, and I do now.
okay, all right.
John?
Are we ready?
Yep.
I move that we come out of executive session at 6:52.
Second.
John seconded. Call roll, Mr. Genowine.
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes, I move to adjourn at 6:52.
Second.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes,
Mr. Genowine.
Yes.
All right.
thank you.
Perfect. To the ballpark?
Yes.